Okay, this is a spoiler-free review of the Japanese horror movie Stigmatized Properties. Stigmatized Properties is a story of two failed comedians and a failed makeup artist who get involved in a TV show where they stay in stigmatized properties. So right off the bat for me, this film is subtitled and isn't dubbed. For me, this is massive. I cannot watch films that are dubbed. I prefer to read the subtitles and have the actors speak in their native accent, so for me this was a big thing. Now, in the real world, stigmatized properties aren't too uncommon, but in Japan, where this film is set, there's a darker underbelly. In Japan, high stress and loneliness can drive people to suicide, and if anyone takes their life in a residential home, then that home then becomes shunned and tainted. Nobody wants to live there. So we start this film off with a comedy show. It's quite clear that the show it's not going well. The two guys on stage are bombing. You have Yamame and Nakai. You have one girl in the audience who is laughing at every single joke. We get to know her later. She is Azusa. She is the makeup artist. After this show, Nakai feels that he's been booed off the stage one time too many, and he decides to pull the plug on their act. Nakai hears about the idea for someone to stay in a stigmatized property, and he nominates his partner Yamame for the role. It's sold to us that if these two were to split up, Nakai would be okay, but Yamame would be hopeless. So Nakai hears of this idea of a TV show for someone to stay in stigmatized properties, and he either helps his friend or throws his friend under the bus, whichever way you want to look at it. So Yamame goes along with this idea, and he takes Azusa to the first house, and it produces some very, very eerie results. The show goes on to be a hit, and the director continues to demand frightening scenes for each episode. And Yamame is able to continue to get these frightening scenes with the help of Azusa, and he's able to continue to acquire stigmatized properties through a specialist at a local estate agency. It benefits under Japanese law. If somebody stays in a stigmatized property, then the agency no longer has to declare it as stigmatized, so it benefits the agency if Yamame takes a short leasehold at any of these addresses. As the show goes on and it continues to get results, Yamame becomes obsessed. He becomes obsessed with finding more properties. He is offered the chance to go and live near Tokyo. He only makes it as far as Chiba because Tokyo was too expensive. Yamame becomes very obsessed. Nakai has serious doubts. His mum has been burned back in his hometown, and his dad has died. Nakai feels this is linked to the show. Azusa is becoming very creeped out, and she also wants to take a step away from it. Azusa was probably my favorite character. She was sweet, she was a genuine character, and the actress for me played the role very well. I think every character, the four main characters in this show, all did a good job. Yamame, Nakai, who are the two comedians, Azusa, and the specialist estate agent, who was played by Noriko Eguchi. So I think for me, the movie yeah, I think the movie went really well. It lost it in the last 15 minutes. Only in my opinion, it lost it in the last 15 minutes. Everything that made this film scary was eradicated. It became a lot more supernatural, a lot more far-fetched, and for me, the last 15 minutes took the sting out of the movie. I think during the movie it was eerie, it was creepy, you didn't know if characters were going to make it or not. But the last 15 minutes, for me, it lost a little bit of steam. But I would recommend this to any horror movie fan. You can get invested in the characters. You can get invested in the characters. I think they're all quite good characters. I think each actor does a good job. There are some very creepy scenes, some very disturbing scenes. It's an insight into a completely different culture. So I think, massive credit has to go to the director Hideo Nakata in putting this film together. So Stigmatized Properties is definitely something you should check out. As I said, I feel it tails away in the last 15 minutes, but that's only my opinion, and it shouldn't deter anybody else from going to see the movie. So if you have the chance, definitely check it out. If you can, check it out at the cinema for that slightly better experience, then please do that. So thank you for listening.